I speak to a lot of homeowners that want an idea on what they can do to their property to make sure that they can get the maximum out of it. And sometimes some of the things that vendors tell me that they're going to do, I think can be a complete waste of time. There are certain things that do make a difference though. So if I was looking to maximise the value of my home, obviously it's all about making sure that it's looking its best, and that's from being online and then from people coming round to see you on a viewing. So curb appeal is a massive one, and it's something I say a lot to my homeowners, is that if you're putting your house on the market, you want to make sure that you're showing it off in the best possible light from when someone first arrives, because it's the first thing they're going to see and it's the last thing they're going to see when they leave the home. So you don't have to go too mad with curb appeal depending on what kind of value your home is worth, but if you've got a driveway full of weeds, you want to be picking them up. You want to be getting rid of those weeds. There's nothing worse than seeing an unkept garden. And if you start doing it, your neighbours might start doing it as well. They don't want to make their house look as bad as what your house is, and then it starts making your neighbours look good as well, which is another thing a lot of buyers will ask about neighbours, or they'll check gardens just to see what the neighbours are like. But yeah, definitely weed the front, and also if there's any touching up that you can do, any painting, masonry painting, absolutely jump on top of that. And if we're sticking on curb appeal, if you've got loose tiles on your roof, get them fixed for what it's going to cost and what you potentially can get back, because there's nothing worse than having a missing slate or a missing roof tile and a homeowner turning round, a buyer turning round and saying, well, that's going to cost me a whole new roof, so I'm going to knock X amount off my asking price. So yeah, I would definitely be looking at curb appeal as my first thing. So my second thing to add value to your home is making sure that you're touching up any paintwork. I think a fresh coat of paint here and there always makes a huge difference. You know, you can smell when someone's freshly painted or whether a property is looked after, and paint does a really good job of that. But I understand not everyone can paint, and there's different reasons that people want to put their property on the market, but just making sure everywhere is tidy. Now these tips that I'm throwing out are literally just tips to help you get the most out of it by doing small things. I mean, we could talk about big renovations here, but this is really just a quick chat on what you can do to make sure that you're showing off your property in the best possible light to get the best possible price at the end of the day. So like I say, with talk of paint, that does make a real big difference. So another bugbear of mine, and something that I think does affect what people are potentially going to offer on your property, is mould patches within the property. Now, it's not necessarily that you've got damp in the house, but I see a lot of people where they'll dry clothes inside the home, not have it well ventilated. It's the same with bathrooms, where people are not opening their windows, and on suites where the extractor fan isn't doing enough and you get those mould patches on the ceiling. Get them off, and they can be quite easy to get off if you keep on top of it. Bleach is something really good that will get that mould off. Just get it cleaned down. It's going to make a difference in what you achieve for your price. And just making sure everywhere's a bit tidy, clean, that everything's been moved off the sides, that is a real good thing to do as well. And finally, your back garden. It's very much as important as the front garden and your front driveway. Making sure the lawn's cut, making sure it's showed off in the best possible light. I would go as far as, if you're selling in the spring or summer, making sure the furniture's out there, if you've got any garden furniture, to show what kind of living you have got at that property. Gardens can be a really big expense for some people if they look at it and think, well, I've got to totally landscape that whole garden, when realistically they don't need to do that. So I would be looking at sorting out the garden, putting all the tools away, getting rid of stuff that doesn't need to be there, mowing that lawn, tending to the beds. If time's on your side, I would just do the basics, but try and make it as tidy as possible. It's even autumn time, you know, leaves that have dropped, it doesn't take too long just to quickly go out there, spend 15-20 minutes collecting some leaves up, just so it's tidied up and getting them in the bin. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Again, if you do like it, make sure to give it a thumbs up and comment if you've got any questions, and most importantly, subscribe so you can hear more about what I recommend in getting your property in the best possible condition, and also to make sure when choosing an estate agent, you're choosing the right ones and for the right reasons. You could have the right buyer in front of the wrong estate agent, and it's so important you get this right, because it is going to make a difference in what your final price will be. It's really good to see and ask estate agents what they're actually achieving compared to what prices they're putting the properties on for, and especially on the cheaper agents, because you might think you're saving £1,000 here and there, but if they are a crap negotiator, you could potentially lose £5,000 to £10,000 on the way they're negotiating and the way they're rushing their sale through. So again, another way to maximise value is to look at what that agent's actually going to do to try and get you the best possible price. It doesn't always come down to the fee, and if it's a good estate agent and you're trying to push for a low fee, a good estate agent might even walk away from you, because they won't be willing to do the fee at a lower price with what they offer. And I think that's a good indication to show on what that estate agent is actually like. Well, enjoy the rest of your day, and like I say, remember to subscribe, and we'll go from there. Thank you.